Carl, of course, a quick turnaround for you going into Tuesday's game, back at home though on the positive side, so no travel on that front, but off the back of Saturday, obviously a good win, a bit of a positive mood. How's everything just sort of been today ahead of tomorrow night?
Yeah, as you can imagine, good spirits, the team obviously full of confidence from what happened at the weekend, but we know that this is a very different game, very different challenge, one that we've prepared for. We've took the lads through what we expect from the game and what we expect from us. So we feel like we're in a good position to go and affect the game. But like I say, it's a tough opponent, one where we'll have to be at our very best to get something out of it.
Yeah, and mentioning the quick turnaround, I suppose for the lads, obviously when they get back on the bus after Saturday, they can sort of enjoy a bit of a positive atmosphere after getting a win. But for yourselves and the rest of the coaching staff, I imagine it's straight back on the bus and straight looking at Rochdale and working out how you're going to play against them.
Yeah, it's true. You don't want to take your eye off the immediate threat, which was Maidenhead, but we knew with the quick turnaround that we need to get a head start on it. So we have a lot of detailed information on Rochdale prior to the weekend. So coming back from Maidenhead, we used that time to just further look into them. And then, of course, we came in early this morning and then we let the lads come in for a later start, which benefited them after the long journey back at the weekend. So we feel like we're in a good position to go and attack the game.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rochdale as well, of course, at a side who weren't too far off the playoff places last season and have started this season a little bit stronger in the sense that they do sit in and around those places at the minute. And obviously you touched on after Saturday that you felt like it would be a sort of entertaining game on that front as well tomorrow night.
Yeah, it will be. You know, I like how Jimmy works. I heard him say last season that they were in the sort of the infancy of a project there in terms of how he really wants them to set up and play. And, you know, that time that has now elapsed and he's gone into this season, it's quite evident that he has got them to a level now where they can play a certain way and they can be effective with it. So it's an opponent that we respect. It's a big game for us, one that we're really looking forward to. It'll be a good game to watch. I think last season it was a little bit stale in terms of it was very tactical, a bit of a chess game, but we're hoping to be really positive with our play and be very aggressive both in and out of possession. So yeah, we're looking forward to the game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned in terms of the game itself against obviously a side who are probably not too dissimilar to yourselves in terms of possession stats and things like that. When you look at the league, the Perrys are right up there. But what does that make maybe different when you're preparing to face against a side that are a little bit similar to yourselves in the sense of playing at home as well, where generally you can get some teams who come up and sit off and try and frustrate, but you would imagine Rochdale probably aren't going to look to do that too much.
No, they won't, and it probably suits us as well. You know, we want to be front foot, we want to set tempo, and it helps when teams try and build similar to what we do. You know, we can look at the areas in which we can be aggressive and front foot and go and affect the game without the ball. So it's probably a game that we prefer, to be honest, even though you've got to adapt to different styles. But the threat is, if you don't get it quite right and your timing's off, both in and out of possession, this sort of playing style and these kind of teams can break through you and attack at you and find space. So we have to be disciplined in our roles, but then, you know, really get the pressing angles right, the timing of our movements correct, and then it can be a night that we can make it really uncomfortable for them. But it is very much about us. We believe that if we play to our levels and we get things right from our side, that it's a game that we can go and win.
And on Saturday, one that we didn't mention after the game, but Carter Milmore coming off the bench for his senior debut, of course, involved in the squad for the first time as well at the weekend, but a positive sign for, well, not only for him, but obviously the academy pathway and a chance for him to sort of see where he could end up if he keeps putting the work in, as well as the rest of his teammates that are in the academy system as well, I imagine.
No, it's brilliant. We sat at length with Alan and Tony from the college earlier on in the season about making sure that the pathway is clear, making sure that the relationship between us and the college is strong. I knew about a lot of the players that are in the programme off me time scouting when they were at their previous clubs, so the likes of Newcastle, Sun and Middlesbrough. So I had good understanding of what we had available and really impressed with some of the level of quality. So we had Callum, who travelled but wasn't on the bench. And then Carter got an opportunity, and obviously the nature of the game, it was great to be able to get him on and get some minutes. So it's really important that we still invest time and energy into players that are in our building, and that there's a clear pathway there and an opportunity to play, and Carter is a great example of that. So hopefully that strengthens the relationship and it makes our younger players sort of look at him and think, that they push their limits and give everything that they can to be in a similar position. So we're really pleased that we had that option, because even though it's a big squad, we struggled with injuries and illness sort of late. So he filled an important void and he came on. He done absolutely fine in the game. So we're delighted for him.
Yeah, and in terms of the general picture, I suppose, fitness-wise and everything ahead of tomorrow, I imagine no new sort of complaints or worries. Obviously, Dan Jones came back from a bit of illness to be fit in time to start on Saturday as well.
Yeah, Jonesy was brilliant. He travelled down on the morning, came down on the train because he had been ill, so we didn't want him around the boys. So the level of commitment there to come down on the morning, play the game, and then he travelled separately back as well. But his performance level was excellent, so that was a real positive. But in terms of losing any players, no. In fact, we're getting a couple back, which is great. So we're in a real good position, like I say, to go into the game really positive and get some strength and depth back.